Live from JMT Studios, it's time for Two Jersey Kids, the best video game podcast on the planet.
What's going on, all you Jersey kids out here? It is episode 57 of Two Jersey Kids, the gaming podcast that is Two Jersey Kids. I am the host of Two Jersey Kids, Adam Buckingham. Alongside me is my best friend, the best stick handler in the video game business, Gary Seisel. How you doing today on this fine Friday?
Excellent, sir. I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here with all you great people, as always, listening in, supporting us week after week. I'm very happy to be here. Let's talk some gaming, shall we?
Completely agree there, Gary. It threw me off when I first did the introduction because I thought I wasn't recording, but I realized because before, if you guys want an inside scoop, for some reason my computer just decided it just wanted to crap out on me, so I was trying to delete different portions on GarageBand to add them back on, so now the order of who's recording where is thrown off. So I'm used to my recording bars being up top and Gary's on the bottom, but now it's reversed and it's really throwing me off. I may be off my game this episode, but it is episode 57. If you guys didn't know, if you're a new listener, please stick with us to the end. Hopefully you'll earn that subscribe button. If you're a continued listener, you're a Jersey kid. We love you. Keep listening, and if you get a chance, please go rate us on iTunes or whatever rating system is out there for podcasts other than iTunes, which iTunes is most of the time the main thing. We would appreciate every rating. We're at 20. I want to get to 21 eventually, so please, if you could do that, that would be fantastic. But before we get into everything, I just want to talk from the best bud. I've been seeing you've been playing some Fortnite now, and I know we're going to go more into it because there's an article about how many people have been playing Fortnite Battle Royale since it's come out, and it's sort of given a revitalization to the game. But you've been playing it, and from what I could see from the Twitch videos that you play, you were streaming it, you were enjoying it. I remember you were talking at the beginning of an episode where you or a stream where you thought that it felt better.
Yes. So I'll talk more about what I really like about the game when we get into it, but I have been having a ton of fun with this game. It's just a breath of fresh air for me, I guess, coming from PUBG, where sometimes things don't really feel how they should all the time. They feel kind of sluggish. This game just feels really smooth to me, even though it's only early access. It's just very, very functional, and it performs really well on my computer. I mean, not that it shouldn't. I mean, my computer is pretty damn good. So, yeah, I've been having a great time with that game. Been streaming that. I've also been playing PUBG. So kind of just going back and forth between those games.
Does it make sense that the game actually feels better because it's developed by a studio or a developer that has more clout? Because you know Epic Games, I think back in the day, there were the developers behind, what was it, Gears? I want to say Gears. But they're a prominent AAA developer, so I can understand why it feels better. And I was actually watching your stream, shout out to Gary, stream Scavenger 18 with a 3 in the middle somewhere when you have to do an E, just to throw it out there so people don't get confused and go to the wrong Scavenger 18, because apparently there's one out there. But yeah, I feel like it just feels a lot better because I was watching in PUBG, for some reason when you were in first-person mode, it just looked a lot jankier. Not that it's a bad thing, I guess, because it is still in early access and people do love it. But Fortnite, from what I've played, always felt smooth. It may not feel as, quote-unquote, realistic. It's definitely more cartoony and arcadey feeling. You can't zoom in all the way. It's definitely a third-person shooter. Less tactical, I guess you could say. I mean, there's tactics, but when it comes to tactical, I'm thinking of like prone and, working your way forward, where Fortnite, it's kind of just balls to the wall, have at it.
Yeah, love it. That's my favorite thing about it. I've been wanting... See, the thing is, like for me, I started playing H1 when I first got my PC, because I kind of liked how that game was like kind of run and gun, fast paced. But then the game was so piss poor in performance. I mean, the hit registration was terrible, which is a huge problem, obviously. But it had so many other problems, and I couldn't continue playing that game without kind of getting annoyed. So I went to PUBG, and it's fun, but it's not like exactly what I'm all about. I don't know. I don't really have the patience anymore to plan out every step. I mean, after I'm done streaming that game sometimes, even though I'm not streaming in front of thousands of people, my mind has to recover from just having to focus so much on the damn game.
And I think it goes to show that the fact that that map in PUBG is so much larger than Fortnite.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And I feel like that maybe lead to Fortnite being more of a run and gun style shooter because it is more condensed, even though it looks large in game, but it's definitely more condensed and it feels more arcadey running through. We'll touch more into what they plan on adding to Fortnite, but right now, me and Gary have enjoyed it from what I can tell, and I'm sure you'll get more into it maybe later. But I know our good Jersey kid out there, Nikita. He's a fan of it, too. He plays on PS4. Maybe I'll hit him up eventually when I have a time to sit down and actually play a game.
That would be awesome. And by the way, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So were you watching last night when I was live, or did you just kind of watch like the video the next day?
I went back and watched the video. Sorry, Gary. I'm a working boy. I can't stay up late.
I had a viewer last night watching me for, I guess, like about 20 minutes or so.
Awesome.
I didn't know who it was. I was trying to figure it out. So
they're always so shy. The few
I know
initial viewers, they never want to say anything. I just always want to interact, say hi, how you doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. It's awkward otherwise.
You're like, this person's silently judging me as I play this game.
I'm playing this game. I'm like, am I doing this right? I don't know.
Oh, do you really want to wish that upon yourself when you become large and get 500,000 followers watching you, have 25,000 watching you on a live stream, and they judge every movement of yours? The
difference, though, is that you have, if you have, I don't know, if you're a streamer that has 1,000 viewers, most of those viewers are going to be very loyal to you and support you no matter what. So that's the thing. Then you have the trolls, but then you have your loyal band of followers that slaps them down. So it's different. And then you have the bots that you pay that don't do anything and just jack up your number. Of course. I mean, of course. That's just usual. But besides Fortnite and PUBG, have you been playing anything else? I'm sure it's probably hard for you to wait for Destiny 2 to come out. It is play for PC because now you've hopped on the PC bandwagon and you won't hop off, Gary. It's kind of annoying. Well, I have been playing some console. Okay, I have been playing some PS4. I've been playing some NHL 18 occasionally. I have a franchise that I made. How's that game feeling? It's cool. I like the game. I like how this year they have an expansion draft that's in the game, so you can create your own expansion team, do the draft, and you kind of have your own team. It's kind of cool. So I've been doing that. The thing is with that game that still bugs me, I still feel like the gameplay mechanics and the skating and everything in that game is just so clunky, so awkward a lot of the time. And if you watch any hockey game, if you play hockey and you see how the skating is in this game, you just know it isn't what it's like in real life. It's just not fluid. Do you think that's because it seems like the past few episodes we've gone into hockey just left and right, it seems like. But when it comes to sports games, and I'm going to go hockey in particular because you played hockey, you actually understand it, you know the movements behind it. Do you think because they're going more, I know we touched on it before, but going more realistic, that it makes it actually look more junky and more janky, so to speak, and not when it's more arcadey where you actually sort of have a leniency for realism? It's possible, but I just honestly think it's just something to do with their engine, the way their gameplay is set up, the way their physics engine works, stuff like that. I don't know if it's anything to do with maybe simulation versus arcade. I just think that they need to revamp their entire programming when it comes to movements in that game. It's so awkward so much. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. It's unfortunate, really. Especially because they don't have too much competition in that market, so they could take 2 years to develop the next NHL. And I wonder if I don't know why they haven't thought of this, maybe just because they feel like they can sell the sports games every year, is why don't they go the route of this game or this thing is a system, or it's like it's a platform to build off of for the future. So updating rosters along the lines, maybe every 3 years it actually comes out with a quote-unquote new game. I'm sure people will be upset by that. And, of course, if it does happen, you'll probably hear me be hypocritical on here and say, that's fucking dumb. No, I think it'd be very interesting to see something like that happen. I'm not sure if they're going to be the ones to do it. Maybe another company will. But I doubt it. But it is frustrating because they are the only team. They are the only game out there, and when that happens, I mean, they don't have to do much anymore to keep their sales numbers going. I mean, I will say that over the past few years, they really have, especially in this past game, they've added in more features than I expected they would. And they actually released a content update, I think, the day after it actually dropped, and it added like new game modes in and stuff. So I was impressed. I have to say that. But yeah, it's just the gameplay isn't that great in that game, in my opinion. Before we move on to what I've been doing, but
I want to ask: what city is your team in? What's your team's name, and what's your mascot?
So we're the Regina Firebirds.
Of course.
Saskatchewan.
You had to choose Regina, really?
Well, because I wanted a team in Saskatchewan. The reason being, okay, it isn't a sexual thing like you think it is. The reason being is because in the game they have these logos, like they're kind of like the perfect logos to put on a shoulder, like a patch. And it has the Saskatchewan state with like a little totem pole looking thing, like I guess like as a symbol of that province. Yeah. And I was like, that's so awesome. It would look great on a jersey. So I'm like, I want to find out a way to make a Saskatchewan team. So here we go.
You know what I thought? I'm just thinking of now what your dream job should be, Gary, is you just design hockey jerseys or jerseys for any team, because that seems like what gets you just excited in your pants. Let's be honest.
It's a lot of
talking to you way back when, even when we were doing the club back in NHL 12, you were just so excited to make 15,000 different jerseys for our club team.
I was. And the more that people say that to me, a lot of people have told me that. Like, why don't you just get involved in making jerseys? I was like, because I don't.
Or just graphic design in general, where you design different things.
Yeah, I'll have to go back to school. Graphic design major. Oh, God. More school? Is that happening?
You can hit up our listener, Kat, who's into that. Yeah. See what it involves. But what I have been up to, thank you for asking, Gary. I haven't been doing too much gaming. It seems like it's a pattern right now. Been busy. My hand was hurting yesterday because I had to write, you saw the text I sent out, how to get addresses for a lot of people, so I had to do a lot of handwritten envelopes to send out, which, whew, man, I need to invest in like one of those label makers, because that would be a choice right now. Man. And I only wrote, like, it was maybe 15, and my hand was killing me at the end. Because you have to write the address, and then you have to write the return address, and it's a hassle being this adult thing. It's not like we have electric mail or anything. But I actually did. One of our friends came over, and we actually played not Jack Attack, but it's the Jack Party Box thing, where it's the main game that originally spawned all these other games. It's in the original pack, where it's like a fun, goofy trivia game. Played that a decent amount, a few go rounds. Really enjoy that game. It's a lot of fun. Almost won the second time. I'm so angry. First time I was in negative 17,000, which is bad. But
my God,
the second time I was at 15,000 positive. But no, 13, and I came in second, so I was right there. Sometimes, because that game actually asks trivia questions that are in an unusual way. It's not just flat out telling you. It's kind of asking you questions in a strange manner. But another thing that we played in the Jack Party Box 2, I believe, it's called Bomb Corps, which it kind of reminds me of a VR game back like a year or two ago, where it's like, don't set off the explosive, or don't let the bomb blow up, or whatever it was called. I forget off the top of my head. It's not like this is a video game podcast, I'm supposed to know all these things off the top of my head, but it was basically a VR thing where you spin around an actual bomb and try to defuse it by somebody reading a manual. But this was more of I don't want to say simplistic, because it was still difficult, where everybody had their phone, and each person would get different rules that we had to read off in order, and only one person could cut wires, or only two people could cut certain wires, and then we had to figure out how to do this, like defuse these bombs without setting them off. And of course, we've made it to a certain portion of the story where we completed the bomb, did all the bombs, but of course we had to file things at the end, but of course they say if you don't file them properly, you're going to blow up. So we got so close, but they tricked us. They tricked Marta, where it was it sounded like the same name, but they slipped in one letter or slightly different, and we accidentally filed the wrong thing, and we blew up, and we were right at the end, and it was kind of upsetting. The game was oddly stressful for late at night. There was a lot of screaming and freaking out, but it's a fun time. You go through each day, getting a star rank. So yeah, that's fun. But other than that, that's what I've been up to. I've been looking to play some more Hearthstone, actually. I've been playing a little bit of it. Still enjoying the new expansion. I like messing around in that game because you can get it on your phone or iPad, and it's a chill game to play when I'm trying to relax. Other than that, haven't been doing too much. but that's about it. I think it's time for This Week in Gaming, brought to you by Gatorade, but not really. It's actually brought to you by Moby Games, because that's where Gary does his work. Go, Gary!
Yeah. The first game I have on This Week in Gaming is Just Cause, released on Xbox, Xbox 360, and Windows in 2006. Now, per Wikipedia, this is obviously the first of the Just Cause series. The game is set on a... Yeah, believe it or not. Now, this game is set on a fictional South American tropical country known as San Espirito, where the player works as an Agency Black Ops agent, Rico Rodriguez, supporting a guerrilla war to overthrow San Espirito's dictator, who may be in possession of weapons of mass destruction. Now, the game takes the form of a third-person sandbox type. The game area is reported to be over 250,000 acres in size, with 21 story missions and about 40 side missions to complete. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting, okay? I couldn't find any real crazy trivia about this game, but I just thought this was kind of comical. So this game did, well, I would say overall positively, but it kind of received mixed reviews as well from some gaming outlets. So we have IGN here rated this game as 6.8 out of 10, noting the lack of depth in gameplay and repetitive missions. So not bad, but not great either. Now, on the other hand, ironically, IGN in the UK gave the game an 8.8 out of 10, and official Xbox Magazine, also in the UK, gave the game a 9 out of 10, noting the game's varied, consistent, imaginative gameplay. So... do we not just trust the American version of IGN, or is it just a different country apparently has different gaming tastes? I don't know,
I think it's more not the country, it's just the person, because people have different tastes, Gary.
True.
Stop dividing us. We're all humans.
No. But you'd think that... See, this is the thing, though. Why... So you have one person reviewing these games instead of maybe a team where they all kind of pool their ideas? I don't know. It's just
because that would cost a lot of money, and they have to review a decent amount of games where you can't have everybody just playing one game. I mean, people do play it for fun, and they can offer their opinions, but somebody actually plays it in-depthly and tries to, eke out everything of it and get a quote-unquote score, which I've listened to, and the scoring system is always kind of strange in gaming, because how can you really score a game when people have different tastes? Because some people may like JRPGs more than open worlds, or they may like fighting games more than JRPGs, and it's sort of a shift in what you like and what you appreciate. I like 2D side-scrolling kind of beat-em-ups nowadays, instead of, I don't know, what can I think of? Sports game, sure. I would choose a side-scrolling thing over a sports game right now. It's just how I just think person at the time. But it's kind of funny. I do remember when this came out, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But I do remember that it came out to mixed reviews. I was like, do I really want to get it? And it's kind of funny how it didn't seem like it was such a... It didn't hit the zeitgeist or whatever, because now Reddit took off with Just Cause 2. Not Reddit took off, but Just Cause 2. I always saw it on Reddit way back when, and now Just Cause 3 is the same thing. It's kind of strange that it spawned this way, where I didn't hear so much about it back when it first came out.
Yeah, I actually bought Just Cause 2 back in the day, I guess about 10 years ago now, which is kind of sad.
Back in my day.
Yeah. Almost 10 years ago, by the way, Just Cause 2. Not quite 10 years.
How old were you, Gary?
I don't know, 15 maybe?
Damn, we're young.
Crazy. Yeah, I know, it's unbelievable. But this game, I bought Just Cause 2, and I guess at the time, I was really into RPGs, so I started playing it, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to play this anymore. It just didn't hit the spot at the time, but I think if I played it now, I would like it. I've said this before, I think in many different episodes in this podcast, that I kind of regret not giving Just Cause a chance, but... it is what it is, people.
I'm sure you could probably find it on Steam for cheaper.
I probably could.
Moving on.
But moving on, yes, of course. 2, this is a shout out to you, Adam, and of course many other people, I'm sure, that listen to this podcast, is Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, released on PS4, Windows, and Xbox One in 2014. Now, per Wikipedia. And this is an original story set in the Legendarium, created by J.R.R. Tolkien. The game takes place between the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. The player controls Talion, a ranger who bonds with the wraith of the Elf Lord, now bear with me, Celebrimbor, as the two... Oh, Jesus. He's having a heart attack. As a Celebrimbor? See, I'm not familiar with this shit, damn it. But yeah, whatever. I butchered it. I don't care. Now this. All right. Anyway, the game's development.
I was really curious how you're going to say that because I wanted to see if you would actually have, if you looked into it. But I just appreciate it. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at this is what it must feel like when you're on the other end of me reading any name in any article.
Yeah.
So.
No, you are on point. It actually is way better to pronounce it the other way. Thank God. It'd be much easier. But the game's development began in 2011. Now, in order to create an accurate environment and be consistent with Tolkien's books, the developers consulted several people from Warner Bros. As well as Peter Jackson, director of The Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit film trilogies. Now, interestingly, at least to me, this game would face some controversy, apparently. In October 2014, after the usual video game review outlets were unable to obtain early access to Shadow of Mordor, John Bain, known as Total Biscuit, said that YouTube video creators had been offered early access in exchange for agreeing to a contract requiring them to describe it positively. Jim Sterling of The Escapist obtained a copy of one of the contracts and analyzed it in detail. Now, later on, the Federal Trade Commission began an investigation and announced in July 2016 that Warner Bros. Home Entertainment had violated the Federal Trade Commission Act and that the company must declare sponsored advertising in the future. Now, I think I remember this vaguely happening. I don't know.
I don't remember this at all.
Really? For some reason, I remember sort of this happening where they got in trouble, but it kind of like refreshed my mind.
I mean, I don't get why they would do that. One, do they not have trust in the game? And it seems like it's more of the publisher and not the developer in of itself, because Warner Brothers is sort of large, and it's kind of, maybe this is why it's leaving people with a bad taste in the mouth when you come to now, where you've had all the issues with microtransactions and the future DLC, which I did see that the DLC is now actually going to be free. Fun fact. But I don't get why they would do that, because the game of itself didn't need to be, say, you only can get this if you review it positively, because they're going to review it positively just because the game is... I really adored this game. I loved it. Story-wise, had some down moments, especially at the end. It was kind of left me wanting more from the final boss fight. But I still thought that what they did technically was amazing. I'm sure all these YouTubers would have saw that and probably would have reviewed it positively as well. I mean, it wasn't a crap game, so I don't understand why they would have done that per se, and just leaves them looking like a-holes.
Well, what's interesting is they're the same company, obviously, that has the microtransaction problem that speeds up the grind of the game. And it's funny because we were talking about this previously where, you know, the sequel now has the microtransactions, and they obviously, like I said, they added in ways to progress through the game faster. It shows that they, again, do they have confidence in the game, or do they think it's like too tedious? Like it seems like they have doubts. Like where with this game, the original game, they had doubts about how good the game was going to be. Now is the game too tedious? Let's add in ways to progress faster, but you have to pay for it. It kind of
seems like there's a disconnect between what these publishers actually know versus what the developers are putting time and effort to. It seems like they don't. It seems like there's just a disconnect between, do these publishers actually know if their game is good? Do they actually know what a good game? Would they know a good game if hit them square in the head? I mean, it just seems like there's, like I mentioned 2 times before, a disconnect, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what Warner Brothers is going on over there, why they're just not quite getting the gaming industry per se and what people want out of this game and the future game coming out in October. I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah, it is weird. But that has been it for This Week in Gaming. I hope you all enjoyed my amazing history lesson in gaming. So, Adam, take the wheel. Take us to the news.
Will do.
Let's get this started.
Will do, my friend, and I think it's going to start off with a little Fortnite. I know everyone's excited about it. Maybe we should let off, now that I'm thinking about it, with something else, but we're going to start with Fortnite because that's what we have in order. And despite its controversy, Fortnite is off to a great start. So, Fortnite's back on the map after the successful launch of its Battle Royale mode. On September 26th, Fortnite launched the Battle Royale mode for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. According to Epic Games, they saw that over 1 million players played the game on the first day. Epic Games seems undeterred from the comments Bluehole made last week about the development of Fortnite Battle Royale. They are continuing to look to improve the mode, adding new features to Fortnite's Battle Royale, like supply drops, which are also supposed to be coming soon, along with improvements to inventory management. New features like leaderboards and rankings are also on the list, among along with new cosmetic items. Customs glider skins are the first step, with plans to add more character customization afterward. Epic Games currently has no plan to add first-person option per an updated community FAQ posted to the game's official forums. The studio leaves open the option to revisit this in the future, but state they, quote, don't feel it fits with the design style of Fortnite, end quote. Additionally, players should not expect to see vehicles in Fortnite anytime soon or possibly at all. Epic Games has done some prototypes, but explain that they, quote, have concerns with how they'll affect the flow of Battle Royale, end quote. And I just want to say something real quick before we roll into it when it comes to the vehicles and everything, because it's off the top of my head. So I don't forget the point, is I feel like we mentioned before that the map is small enough that I don't think it's conducive for vehicles, where people probably could be able to drive across the map within minutes, if that. But other than that, Gary, you've actually been playing Fortnite and you actually want to get more into it now. Here you go. Here's your platform. Go, my man.
Yeah. So I have to say, I know they're talking about tweaks they're going to add in the future, and I honestly think that the base game, in my opinion, is kind of perfect right now, or at least nearly perfect. Mm-hmm. I don't really think they have to change too much. They don't have to add vehicles. I the vehicles in this game, I just don't think they would really fit in well. Like you said, the map's small now. It's small enough to the point where you can run pretty much across the map pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. I guess in the world of Battle Royale games anyway. So I've been really excited about this game in general. The one thing that I think that really sticks out to me that I've really appreciated is the fact that, I guess, the way the game mechanics work in this game, where the circle isn't as final as PUBG, where like you get screwed by a circle. A circle drops on a completely opposite side of the map from you. You can't find a car, and then you're taking damage, and then you die. That's very annoying. It's very frustrating. And I know when I stream this game and play it, it sometimes is really hard for me to just want to jump into another game after dying to a circle. So with Fortnite, the map's smaller, the circle isn't as punishing, and even if you get into like a bad circle where like you're running in at the very end and you have people in front of you, you can put a wall in front of you. You're like in complete control of the situation all the time, or at least you can be. Whereas I feel like in our Battle Royale games that's not the case, and it's something I really appreciated in my personal experience, is the element of control that you have that you don't have in other games.
I completely agree with that. The one thing that I do think that they need to work on, especially for PS4 and Xbox One, I don't think it's much of an issue for PC, because I was watching you play and it seems like it's more intuitive with the creation aspect, where the PS4 you have to click one button and then flip through a wall, stair, everything in just that few extra seconds, where it seems like on PC you can just hit a key and it goes right to that creation of that specific thing. Whereas, PS4 you have to switch to creation mode by holding a certain thing and then going over to a certain portion like walls, then placing traps on the ground and all that jazz. So that's one thing I feel like they could add into it. But it does show that people, despite controversy, and actually maybe controversy gave them more shone light more on Fortnite, and now over 1 million people played when it first came out on September 26th, and I could see it keep going, because I think I saw that it was higher up on Twitch that day. I'm not sure about right now. Maybe I'll look into it more, but is there anything else you want to say about Fortnite? Because I know you are now seeing what I did enjoy about it, where you can actually control more of your surroundings. You're not completely screwed if you're out in the open, because you can put walls behind you and you can sort of get away from sniper fire. I do enjoy the fact that they have like that little looting system in the game, where it's actually the guns shine green when they're better, blue when they're, the classic scale of green, blue, purple, orange. Where there is somewhat of a loot mechanic in the game where you can get better weapons. I don't know how much better they are comparative to the ones below it, but I'm sure it's slightly better. But it adds that mechanic to it, which it sort of, you can scratch that itch for people.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to the point you made previously about the controls. So on PC, the one thing that bothers me right now, and I think they're looking into it, is the way you pick up items like off of enemies you kill. They're so bunched together, and like in PUBG, I run over somebody, I hit my inventory button, I just drag everything I need right onto my character immediately. Like, it's really quick, effective. I don't have to spend too much time. But in this game, I just feel like I'm always at risk picking up stuff for much longer than I should be. So that's just I think that's one thing that I hope they fix going forward. But in terms of everything else, I mean, like I said, I like the gameplay, and I know they want to add in leaderboards. That's fine, but of course, with leaderboards, you always run the risk of, like in PUBG right now, you have these hackers that basically kill people that are AFK, or
you'd see that in Call of Duty all the time. Remember when you would look at the top of the leaderboards and they were just ridiculous? They didn't made no sense.
Yeah, 100 KD. No, they would have. I've seen people with negative KDs that have like 1 million kills. Like, it was so bizarre. Yeah,
is that like fun for people to hack a game so you could be high on leaderboards? I could see hacking anything would be kind of fun, but hacking a game where it's actually the point of it is to actually have competition, not just I don't get it. But I just looked on because I was kind of curious. Fortnite right now is number 8 on top games on Twitch. With viewers. So League of Legends, PUBG, Dota 2, then you have FIFA 18, Cuphead, which is releasing sometime soon, which the game looks beautiful. Then you have Hearthstone, and then one before it, I don't understand this, I don't get it, but it's Barbie and the Magic Pegasus.
Can
you explain that to me, Gary?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You're in the Twitch community more than I am.
Dude beats me. That's all I gotta say. I have nothing to say.
Over 30,000 viewers watching that game. I don't get it, but
it could be one big streamer though doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like there's streamers out there that pull like 20,000 plus people. It's insane.
Yeah, I would hope that they are all legitimate people and not bots. But you can definitely see that some people pay for bots. But other than that, I think we are in agreement that Fortnite actually is it's fun in Battle Royale mode. I don't think, we didn't touch on this, I don't know if first-person mode really suits Battle Royale, or the Fortnite, world, and it feels like a third-person shooter. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's suited well for third-person, so I don't know if they're going to add first-person. It doesn't feel right in that sort of game, but who knows? Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they can do it well.
Yeah, I agree. Third person's the way to go in that game. It's not like PUBG where people are always kind of like just, you never know where they're camping. Mm-hmm. In this game, I feel like everything's kind of more out in the open, and you know where people are camping. You see forts built on the battlefield. Like, you see people there. Everything's just easier in this game for me to deal with. So yeah, third person I can deal with in this game. I don't think first person fits in this game either.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? Oh, I had an idea. Just because I mentioned Gears of War before and Epic and all that, I would love, for some reason, a battle royale style game where it's Gears of War, where it's fucking just burly men and women just going at it. That sounded oddly sexual.
Yeah, it did actually, but yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything. But yeah, for me it'd be Star Wars Battle Royale. That'd be nasty.
So what would there actually be Jedi, or would it just be everybody like a smuggler with a handgun and battle rifles and shit like that?
I don't know how that would work, but it'd be crazy if it was Jedi.
All right, player unknown, get to it.
You heard it here first.
It'll probably be janky for the first years. I don't know.
Forever. Yeah, forever.
But moving on to actually the news that people were probably excited about. Sorry, it's taking us 33 minutes to get there, but, me and Gary chit-chatting. Leave us be. If you're a Jersey kid, I'm sorry. We're not that mean to you. But you know what? Take a chill pill. You know what you get with us. But it is the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer that dropped this week. And just so you know, the official description for the video, if you all saw it, says that Red Dead Redemption 2 is the, quote, story of outlaw Arthur Morgan and the Van de Linde gang as they rob, fight, and steal their way across the vast, rugged heart of America in order to survive. End quote. Gary, just right off, how did you feel about that trailer? What did the trailer induce into you? What did it make you feel?
It just got me excited. Good? Well, honestly, it just got me excited to go back into the West again, man. Like, I just love that time period. I've always had a fascination. I've said this before with this isn't really that era, but like the Oregon Trail Western era where everybody's going west and there's all this opportunity, and obviously you have the Wild West here where these guys are just like going apeshit on people with guns and stuff. So I'm just excited to be back in this time period.
Yeah, I can piggyback off that because honestly, leading up to this, when it came to Red Dead Redemption, thinking about like would I want to hop back in the old West world, I wasn't too kind of really vibing it too much. And then I saw the trailer. I was like, yep, I'm vibing it. I want to go back into that world. I don't know if it's because I've been watching Westworld. I don't know what exactly triggered me to want to go back into the Wild Wild West. Maybe it's because it's just been a while since I've been there with Red Dead Redemption. But the first thing I did notice that this game actually looks really beautiful. And excitingly enough, that Rockstar says it's due out in spring 2018. So that's exciting. It's not going to be next fall. It's actually going to be spring. I think they dropped GTA 5 in that sort of area too. I wouldn't be surprised if it's May, and this will be the game that occupies all your summer. So that's exciting. I kind of want to run through everything that I sort of noticed, and you can piggyback off of anything if you want, Gary, or not. You can wait till the end. Who knows? Who knows, people? Who knows what's Gary doing? I don't know. I don't know what he does. But, I mean, the description sort of says it, but it does look like the story will span across multiple seasons, switching terrains, and weather in the trailer could sort of tell that, there's different, snowy areas, desert, I believe I saw. So it's kind of cool that you're going to be experiencing different terrains. I'm not sure how that's going to work out map-wise, when it comes to the game. I know GTA 5 was huge, but how expansive would, Red Dead Redemption well, it could be. Are they trying to go across all of America? That would be kind of insane.
Well, yeah, I think it could be flashbacks too.
Yeah,
it could
that's
be
very true.
different times. They think because in GTA 5 you start off in the past and then you flash forward to the future. So it could happen that way.
But I mean, the description says you're going across the rugged heart of America, so I could definitely see this map being even larger than GTA 5. So it could be very expansive. It seems like there's some kind of hunting mechanic. You can see the main character shooting a bow at a deer. Am I wrong here, Gary? Was there any hunting mechanics in the first Red Dead game or first Red Dead Redemption game?
If I'm pretty damn sure you had to collect certain pelts and skins in order to craft certain types of maybe holsters and stuff like that would hold more weapons. I think I'm right on that.
I can't. So it's been so long since I played Red Dead Redemption.
I mean, you realize, when that game came out, I was a junior in high school when that game came out. So my God,
we're closer to 30 than we are going back to that era. Oh, that's scary. But I was wondering while watching the trailer, they did highlight that female outlaw. I don't know if they mentioned a name, where she was stabbing the grizzly-looking man in the hand. I was wondering if that actually this person will be a main NPC or actually someone that you can control, because in previous GTA 5 trailers, they did sort of, when Michael was doing a voiceover, they did have Franklin sort of driving a car. They didn't highlight him as much as they did this female character. So it'd be kind of cool having sort of a 1-2 punch of a male protagonist and a female protagonist all sort of in the same gang. It'd be kind of cool if they're sort of competing gangs. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do, because Rockstar is fucking insane. But it'd be kind of cool having, that.
I was going to... in GTA 5, I always thought that they did a great job with characters in that game. They had multiple characters, but they made you care about each of them because they all were well written and obviously likable. So it would be cool, I agree, to see additional characters in this game besides the main character.
And I already like her because she's a fucking badass. Stabbing a fucking knife into some Grizzly Adams type character. It's fucking awesome. And then also, if the map is large, it does help with... probably not quote-unquote fast traveling, but you do have the option of switching between characters to get the different areas of the map, which is always beneficial, especially if it's going to be a large area, which I sort of feel like that's what it's going for. Of course, this game looks just as dramatic as Red Dead Redemption 1, but I kind of actually wanted to shoot this question to you, Gary. Do you have any clue why they called it Red Dead Redemption 2 and not just something else? Why not Red Dead... yada yada yada. I don't know, but is it going to touch somehow with Red Dead Redemption? Or are they just using it as a way to get people excited for this because everyone knows Red Dead Redemption?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know last night when I was looking at this trailer, I read somewhere, kind of glanced over on the side, that there were subtle hints and stuff in the trailer that you could maybe maybe they're going to do this, maybe this little Easter eggs, I guess, and people are, of course, now theorizing about what they mean. I don't know why it is Red Dead Redemption 2. Maybe it does touch upon the previous story. Personally, I don't care if it does or not. It's not something that really matters to me. I liked Red Dead Redemption, but, it's been a while since I played that game, and if this game is kind of separate, that's fine. Mm-hmm. No big deal.
And I could definitely see it sort of kind of touching on what happened in Red Dead Redemption, but not actually full out, going into it. Maybe there's some hints, some Easter eggs in the game, what you see all the time in some Marvel movies where they just sort of throw things in there for you down, people getting excited, a bone to chew on, so to speak. Now I'm sort of, the final thing that I did notice, and I don't know if you noticed, but I'm kind of speculating at the end when they're walking away, there's 3 characters walking away from a burning building. I don't know, I kind of got vibes of like the heist mechanic in GTA 5, and I could definitely see that in the Wild West setting where you have these large heist mechanics where you're planning your way to steal or rob a train and then escaping, which I feel like this game would be perfect. The Wild West would be perfect for heists,
yes.
More so than GTA 5.
It would be way more badass. It's like you're saying, man. Like, come on, a train heist? Like, how could you possibly go wrong with something like that? You're riding your horses, like, next to a train, you jump on, and it's like this crazy... Oh, dude, it'd be
like
so awesome.
John Wayne movie.
Yeah, just insane, dude. Absolutely.
Do you have anything?
Rob a bank.
That's sort of everything I've sort of noticed. Did you want to have any comments about Red Dead Redemption before we move on?
No, I'm good. I'm just really looking forward to seeing how this game develops more and what we learn more about it. And I hope heists are a part of it.
Me too. And I could definitely see Red Dead Redemption Online being a thing because I think they trademarked that way back when they first announced it, or when they first had like that little Twitter tweet that made everybody go fucking nuts. I remember we mentioned it on an episode way back when. And so I could definitely see Red Dead Redemption Online being a thing because GTA Online is a huge thing and it keeps GTA in the sales charts constantly. So I could definitely see that being a possibility, and I'm just excited. I want to see more. I'm sure there's going to be another trailer. There's going to be trailers coming out in the future, because we're not too far away from the May time range where I think it's actually going to be released, so that's exciting. But moving on, in Anthem, the game developed by BioWare, sort of like a shoot and loot game, third-person shoot and loot style like Destiny, is apparently going to get a beta. So game director Jonathan Warner said in a great Twitter interaction, might I add, that there will be a beta before it goes out the door. And I just want to include this Twitter interaction because I thought, why not? At Tim the Classic One says, quote, "If this game don't get a beta like Mass Effect Andromeda, I'ma assume it's dead in the water," end quote. And Jonathan Warner responds, quote, "Yeah, we'll have a beta. Hashtag prepare for adventure." End quote. That's an exciting interaction, but yeah, I could definitely see Anthem having a beta. It just seems like these type of games definitely need a beta. Division had a beta. All these shoot and loot style games definitely deserve a beta to get people hyped for the game.
Yeah, and this game's still kind of mysterious to me. I haven't, maybe it's because I haven't paid attention, maybe I've missed things ever since it was announced at E3, but I'm excited. This is one of those things, it's kind of up my alley, I guess. It's that multiplayer shooter type thing. I'm a big fan of Destiny, obviously. So we'll see what happens. But I'll be keeping my eye out for the beta for sure.
The game looks beautiful from the trailers that
and
we
will
saw.
This and this could be maybe the recovery of BioWare. This is where they get back on track. everybody kind of busts their balls all the time about Mass Effect Andromeda.
That's not the same BioWare. I mention this all the time when people freak out, but everyone has the association because of the same name, but it's different studios. They're located in different areas. They have nothing to do with development.
Yep, doesn't matter though. Still BioWare, so people are just going to criticize them regardless. So maybe this is the game which gets BioWare as a whole back on track, and everybody loves them again, and it's a great CD Projekt Red sort of moment where they just support them no matter what. Hopefully.
Somebody from CD Projekt Red is going to eventually listen to our podcast and say, "You pieces of crap! Why the hell are you saying this about us? Don't jinx us." But other than that, we're going to move on. So Xbox Game Gold has been announced for October 2017. From Major Nelson's site on Xbox One, Xbox Live Gold members can download Gone Home, the console edition, for free during the month of October, and the Turing test will be available as a free download from October 16th to November 15th. Definitely go out, check out Gone Home. I played it. Beautiful story. You can probably get it done within a few hours, so definitely recommend to any Xbox player out there that listens to our podcast. Check it out. The Turing test, I'm not too sure. I haven't heard too much about the Turing test from my own point of view. Maybe people out there actually have. I'm not too sure. Gary, have you heard of the Turing test?
I have. I think we actually talked about it back in the day when you were doing the games releasing, those episodes. I think we talked about the Turing test releasing, if I remember correctly.
I definitely have heard it before, but I'm not sure if I definitely haven't played it, but
kind of like a sci-fi vibe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but I digress. Sorry, I can't offer too much. It's not like we're insiders or anything. We're outsiders. That's why you guys love us. Remember, subscribe to the podcast. It's a good time. You get us every Friday. We're fun people, and you can follow us on Twitter at 2JerseyKids. Moving on. PlayStation Plus games have also been revealed for October 2017. For PS4, you get the Amnesia Collection, you get the Vita Cross-Buy for Hue, and Skyforce Anniversary, and finally, the main thing is you get Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and I can highly recommend, if it's for free, you should definitely get it, because it's a fun time, fun third-person shooter, kind of goofing around, doing missions, collecting Fulton people, bringing them back to your base, sort of trying to grow your base. I definitely had a good time with it. Paying $5 for it, I had a good time. Never finished the story, but I definitely enjoyed sort of doing the stealth missions that they had in the game, and maybe one of these days I'll finally get back to it, but I highly recommend it to any Jersey kid PlayStation player out there. Definitely get it. And Amnesia Collection, if you want to be scared, go for it. And Hue, I heard good things about, which I'm going to probably grab on the Vita.
You're just like a Vita loyalist, apparently.
I fucking love the Vita, man.
I actually, funny enough, I actually was going to include an article in here, but it was way too long. I found it I found it last night. No, really, it was like a huge interview. I was like, "There's no way we're talking about this. It'll take up an entire episode." So I found an article about how the Vita. It was like the Sony guy, some Sony executive, talking about how they're not going to be really looking into making a Sony product in the future that kind of emulates the Nintendo Switch. And like the Vita's probably done, and I just thought of you immediately, like being very disappointed by that news. He's dead. All right, everybody, that's been 2 Jersey Kids. It's over. We're done. We're going to see each other again. I'll see you guys later.
But that is kind of sad. But I thought you were going a different route, because I thought I saw some article that the possibility of making a Vita 2 specifically just for the Asian Japan marketplace.
Well, it's interesting because he was saying how the success of, I think, of the Switch it's been really successful in the Asian countries, but not so much, I guess, in North America. Don't quote me on that, please. Do not. But yeah, he was talking about the different the geographics in different countries and how certain consoles perform better. But yeah, you get the idea.
Especially because those markets, I think, sort of tend towards the mobile variety. That's why
Correct.
PSP and PS Vita. Well, PSP did so well. Also, the fact that you could jailbreak the PSP and play old SNES, NES, and those style games. Which I never gotten around to jailbreaking my PSP, and I always wanted to. And I always feel like that was sort of a missed opportunity because I think it randomly updated past the portion of where I could go, and I can't find my PSP anymore. I really would love it just so I could just emulate old SNES games so I don't have to try to find a SNES classic. But, moving on. So apparently Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic comes out to Steam today. Atari and the original creator Chris Sawyer have teamed up for Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. It's not a compilation of the first entries in the Sim series, but instead an original game that builds off of them, somewhat similar to what Sega recently did with Sonic Mania. The game boasts 95 park scenarios as well as has add-ons like the Scenario Editor Toolkit, Wacky Worlds, and Time Twister. Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic costs $20, and there's a PC and Mac version available, so maybe I can hit up that Mac version, but I did include it because I do remember playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and designing my own roller coasters and really enjoying it. but I think you have in here, but I kind of want to throw you the question so people get it. You're a Tycoon fan. You've played previous Tycoon games, and I just want to know if you like Roller Coaster Tycoon, and if so, do you like it the most out of Tycoon games, or do you like more Tycoon games?
Well, I had Roller Coaster Tycoon. I had the game.
Man,
I actually bought
words
it.
are working so well for us. What I kind of want to ask was, do you like this Tycoon more than others, or do you have a Tycoon that's better than this that you enjoy the most?
Well, so I want to get to that point. But yeah, I had the Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, but I never really played it as much. The Tycoon game that I really got into and played extensively in my youth was Zoo Tycoon. And I just had a great time playing that game. The thing about that game is you had like the regular Zoo Tycoon, and then you had the other expansions that added like marine life and then also dinosaurs. And I just had so much fun with that game, whether it was actually building a zoo and watching my money, of course, increase, or
who doesn't love money increasing? Hashtag capitalism.
Exactly. But yeah, I either built my zoo or I just deleted some fences and watched my animals chase after all my guests. So
that's always fun.
That was I dumped a lot of hours into Tycoon games for sure. And actually the one game that is kind of, I guess, a knockoff of Roller Coaster Tycoon that I always played when I was younger was called Sim Theme Park. And it was on the original PlayStation. And my sister and I used to play this game a lot. I still have the memory card to this day of my sister's theme park. I never got rid of it because it was like her theme park had this roller coaster that literally spanned the entire theme park, and you should have seen the amount of people that came into this place every day, just swimming in money, dude, crazy.
So this is on is the memory cards for PS1 or PS2?
PS1. Yeah.
Shit, do you still have your PS1?
It really is such a shame I do not, but I have the original PS1 portable sort of thing where it's kind of like a really small console. You ever see it with a flip up screen? Yeah, it's a PS1 portable. I still have that, so I could play it on there.
Yeah, I need to come up to Jersey so I can just see this roller coaster, because you never showed it to me. I don't think in all the time that we've played together.
Well, I mean, PlayStation wasn't really relevant back then, and we as kids were always looking forward to the new things.
Yeah.
Xbox is out now. We didn't care about vintage stuff.
Now we're always looking back like, oh man, Halo 2, those were the days. But I think I've told this story of what I did with Zoo Tycoon, haven't I, Gary? Do you remember?
You may have, but I just refresh my mind. Sure.
It's where I didn't know how exactly, because I was young playing Zoo Tycoon back in the day. I didn't really understand the mechanics all too much. And I remember I didn't know how to keep my animals fed, specifically the lions, because I like the lions the most. So I would specifically take penguins and drop them in the lion cage so the lions would be happy and actually would eat. Nowadays, people would call me a sicko, but back then, it got me through some tough times with just having lions. Maybe I should have started off slower, build up the Tycoon, but me being young, I'm like, F it! Who doesn't like lions? Eating penguins, that's fun.
We don't need staff.
No, yeah, exactly. We don't need people coming up, cleaning up the throw up that people apparently just throw up in animal parks.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
On the sidewalk. I mean, I go to the Washington, D.C. Zoo all the time, and I'm just seeing people throw up left and right. It's just a puke fest. I gotta make sure to cover my eyes when I see it. Just a long domino effect. But we should move on to actually something that I thought was kind of interesting. Apparently, because they added survival mode in Fallout 4, that they plan on adding survival mode to Elder Scrolls V Skyrim as the Creation Club launches in Skyrim. According to Bethesda, survival mode will introduce new features meant to change the way a player approaches the land of Skyrim, much like survival mode in Fallout 4 introduced a challenge to the sole survivor. Included among many challenges are climate zones, which introduce cold and frostbite, hunger, and the need to rest. Additionally, fast travel is disabled. Players must travel by horse or on foot. Players can use a boat or carriage to travel, but doing so puts them at a risk of arriving cold, fatigued, and hungry. Right now I'm going to read off specific changes that will occur during survival mode of this game. I'm not sure if this actually fancies you, Gary, but I thought that was kind of cool for anybody who just wants to hop, spend 15,000 more hours into Skyrim. Actually, it'd be kind of cool if you beat the game on this difficulty. I can't imagine how many hours that would take. God. So apparently cold reduces the player's total health pool, creating a dead zone inside the health bar. As dark regions increase, it begins to affect things like movement speed and abilities to pickpocket and lockpicking. Eventually your health pool will drop to almost zero, and dying from exposure becomes a possibility. You can reduce the impact of cold by eating the right foods, dressing for the cold, warming up near a fire, or just heading south for a bit. Players will know if they're getting warmer or colder by the appearance of a sun or snowflake icon to the left of the compass. Like cold affects the health bar, Like cold affects the health bar, fatigue affects the magicka pool. The longer a player goes without sleep, the more fatigued they become. This also affects their ability to recuperate magicka, because they fucking added a "ka" at the end of magic, throws me off every time, and stamina. Why not add stamina? Why is it not stamina-ka? What the fuck, man? Just keep with the whole thing, or health-ka. Sorry, I'm just getting salty right now. I'm going to tone it back down. Keep going. Additionally, the location that a player sleeps is important. In order to get the well-rested bonus, a player needs to sleep in a bed indoors. Sleeping outside is much less effective and will leave the player with fatigue. As soon as they start to swim in freezing water, they begin taking damage and suffering cold effects. It is possible to prevent the effects of icy water by using Flame Cloak spell or using Ancestor's Wrath ability of the Dunmer. Whatever that means, because I haven't played Skyrim in a while. Leveling up now requires that players sleeps on a bed. A player's carrying weight is drastically reduced as well. And arrows and lockpicks now have weight. Walking around while encumbered also drains stamina, increasing the rate at which fatigue accumulates. Woo! There is also disease, which carries significantly more penalties. They can also morph into other diseases if left untreated. Uncooked food doesn't heal as much as prepared foods do, and uncooked meat can now cause food poisoning, a special disease. Shout out to Zoo Tycoon. People were eating bad food and puking all over the sidewalks. Additionally, leaving any of the aforementioned conditions leaves the player open to affliction, and affliction is similar to disease, but will also naturally wear off over time. There is no set date for survival mode to go live in non-beta form. However, if players would like to try it out, they can opt into a beta through their Steam account and try survival mode for free. Console players should get access to survival mode early next month, according to Bethesda. Gary, please talk before I pass out.
Okay, so first of all, I will never play this ever in the history of ever. I just can't do it. Sorry. It's one of those things where it's just too much. I mean, I understand. I think it's a really cool idea. This is something that's awesome. I think it's cool to have that realism. But I'll tell you what, man. Once the player weight thing was mentioned, that really turns me the fuck off, because I can't stand in that game the over encumbered aspect of it. I mean, granted, you can work around it pretty easily in some cases, but arrows and lockpicks now having weight, that's kind of tough to deal with, tough to stomach.
I can't even imagine beating this game on survival mode. I
mean, that's the thing. I mean, just to travel in the game, you're going to be traveling, 75% of the time, doing missions 25%. So it's just, it's something that will take you, unless you're like a professional gamer, months to beat, To
any Jersey kid out there who actually has the time to play this game and actually beat the game, please tweet us at two Jersey Kids and tell me how you did it, because I don't even understand how this could be possible.
Yeah, some people just like to grind, man. I like to grind, just not in this aspect, not in this style of game. So it's cool, it's awesome, have fun with it. It's not my cup of tea personally.
It gives the Skyrim level lovers another thing to do. Hop back in the world. I'm sure people would be excited about that. People do enjoy their Skyrim. I've seen, you can probably look at people's Steam pages that do love Skyrim, and the amount of time they played in Skyrim is probably insane. And
think about this. A few years down the line, we get a remastered survival mode. Okay? It's going to happen.
And you're going to go out and flock to it, Gary, because you drank the Kool-Aid. Did you ever Did you ever play more of the Endro mod, or not? You just been hopping into PUBG and, playing that constantly.
Yeah, I haven't been back to it in a little while. I just haven't been in the mood to play that kind of game right now. So I'm going to go back to it probably eventually. I don't see why I wouldn't. It seems like such a cool thing, to have a completely new game essentially in that type of world. I'm excited to play it again, but just not right now.
Yeah. Maybe I'll eventually get to it when I have something that can play and doesn't crash every time I play it. But it definitely was off to a great start. But every time I got to that next cutscene, it sort of crashed. So, but before we go, I want to say, Gary, there is some breaking news, not gaming related, but I'm sure you will enjoy this. And I enjoyed it because I'm excited now. Joel Embiid has participated in half-court 5-on-5.
Yes.
Hallelujah!
He can play. Oh, shit.
Any Sixers fan out there that's a Jersey kid, you'll understand our pain and you'll be excited that Joel Embiid is back on the court. But, this is a gaming podcast, so I apologize to anybody who has no idea what we just said. It's sports. Deal with it. We enjoy it because people can have a wide variety of things that they enjoy, and we like gaming and sports and all other things, and that's what we like to do. But before we go, Gary, what are you going to be doing this week? What are you going to be doing tonight? Because this is Friday. This episode's going to be dropping soon. So I just want to know what are you doing?
So it remains to be seen. So I have work, unfortunately, Saturday and Sunday, which kind of sucks. But I think I'm going to try to maybe throw in a stream or two this weekend here with Fortnite, maybe PUBG. I kind of want to play more Fortnite, to be honest.
You need to get Gavin to grab Fortnite so you can play with him.
I'm trying to get people to do it, and they're like, "Oh, it looks a little weird." I'm like, "Weird?" I'm like, "Hey, have you played PUBG? That game is as weird as it gets. That game is goddamn slow as hell.
Preach!
Kind of buggy at times, and it really pisses me off. So I don't know. If that's the pinnacle of Battle Royale, I don't know what the pinnacle is anymore. But that's the end of that rant. So yeah, I'm thinking about playing a little more Fortnite on stream at Twitch TV. /scavenger18. Yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, but yeah, you can find the link on my Twitter, which I'm sure you're following if you follow this podcast.
You can't change your name on PlayStation, but you can change your name on Twitch.
I can, and I have, but I don't know. I had to find a name that I like, and that's the hard part. That's always the hard part there. So
Gary Seisel II, because I found out, folks, that Gary. I always thought he was a junior, but I found out he's actually a second. He's Gary Seisel the second, not the third, the second. It does sound cooler than junior.
Damn straight, yeah. So that's pretty much it. I'll be on. I'll be maybe streaming this weekend. I'm trying to do like a Monday through Thursday schedule with possible streams on the weekends until something happens. I don't know. Maybe I'll get some viewers. Who knows? But that's it. That's all I got going on. So, Adam, what are you doing?
What am I doing? What am I doing this weekend? I don't know. I don't think I've set plans. I really want to go pumpkin picking, but I'm not sure if the time yet because it's been oddly warm down here. So I don't know. Well, I'll figure out what I'm going to be doing. I kind of want to hop into Battle Royale eventually, one of these days. I'm going to go to brunch on Saturday, which is exciting because there's a fancy place up in Baltimore that I'm going to check out, which it should be good. But what was I going to say? Oh, thank you all for listening to us. Gary, I don't know if you saw, but our stats have been kind of lower than usual. But I've realized that September 18th, Libsyn did a new thing where they sort of have been able to narrow down download numbers better. So you're not getting the random bot downloads, the random downloads that, have in the past. So I can say confidently now, it seems like consistently we have roughly about 200 to 250 per episode, which actually is still amazing because I never actually knew the legitimate people that listen. So that's exciting to all of those Jersey kids out there that listen to us on a regular basis. We appreciate you. If you're a new listener and you stuck with us to the very end of this podcast, I don't know how you did it, but I'm appreciative that you did. Please hit that subscribe button and please go rate us. It'll help us out tremendously if you rate us on iTunes. Just search Two Jersey Kids. If you're subscribed to the podcast, you sort of have to search us again and then give us a rating. Yada, yada, yada. But Gary, that's about it. You want to say bye to the folks? Sure. I'll catch y'all next Friday. Adios. I always think you're going to say on the flippity flip. But, yeah, you haven't said that in a while. But this has been Two Jersey Kids, episode 57. We love and appreciate every one of the Jersey kids out there. So Keep playing those games. Have a great weekend, folks. Bye.